Hey everyone, welcome back to the DT Model Art channel. Welcome back to the SF70H 1/20th scale Tamiya project that I'm working on. And we are commencing with part 10 of the video build. And what we're going to cover in this video is tires. Actually wheels and tires. And what I do to them, how I detail them. How I eliminate the seams, things like that on the actual tire itself. And you'll also notice over here in this corner here, I have some of the front suspension components built up with the drum brakes. They're not really drum, but they're contained disc brakes inside these drums, which this whole assembly here would be carbon fiber on the actual car. I'm going to do some parts on the outside edge that are going to be exposed when the wheel is on the actual suspension. I'm not going to carbon fiber the whole drum. I don't see the point in that when it's not going to be seen because my tires are going to be on the car. And then I'm going to go ahead and prep all the suspension components. I'm going to most likely do these in a semi-gloss black. I don't know if I'm going to use acrylic, mission models, or what, but I will describe what I use once I get them done. And then I'm going to go ahead and make some templates for them like you've seen in the earlier episodes of this video. Make templates with tape, cut carbon fiber out, and start applying that to the A-arms, and then give them a gloss coat. They tell you to paint them semi-gloss black in the instructions, in the Tamiya instructions, but I've got some really good reference photos from what I've seen, and those arms are pretty shiny. So I'm going to go with a gloss on those just to give them a different contrast to the rest of the car. So let's move on to the wheels for now, shall we? These are the decals that I'll be putting on the tires. The tires have been prepped. They've been sanded down and the seams eliminated. A lot of people out there love, if you want the brand new look of F1 tires, I guess you leave the seams. I just don't like the look of that because to me it looks like, you know, you were kind of lazy and didn't want to take the seams off. That's what a lot of people think too, but nothing against people that want to have, you know, fresh tires. There is a seam there on those. So I've sanded all those down with, what I did is I used my Dremel to get started with a sanding wheel like this on it. And that gets rid of the seam itself. And then I went ahead and hand sanded the wheels, the tires, with some 600 grit sanding paper. It took a while, and that's why I didn't video it, because I figured it would just burn up too much time even if I sped up the video. So I went ahead and did that prior. And then I washed them down with acetone. Acetone, what it does is it doesn't soften the rubber. I just used some stuff that you buy, good old stuff you buy, nail polish remover here, 100% acetone. But it preps the rubber and gets it degreased and gets all the mold release off of them so that the decals will stick. Any painting that you do on them, if you put a gloss coat on them, I tend to do that on my sidewalls. I put a gloss coat down, apply the decals. You'll see that in my next episode piece of this video here. And then I apply the decals, put some microsol on them, and sometimes I put another coat of gloss. I've noticed on F1 tires that the sidewalls are fairly shiny on a brand new or real nice conditioned tire that's ready for a race, and that's the look I'm going after. So I'm leaving obviously the contact area flat, but I'll be doing this piece in a shinier color, or a shinier gloss, probably in acrylic like Mission Models or maybe even Future. I'm not sure yet, after I apply the decals. So that's what I'll do with these. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to paint the wheels. These wheels are just molded in black, as you see here. Now I'm going to prove to a lot of you out there is a misconception, because I'm going to paint these in Alclad. I'm going to do them in a duraluminum. They tell you to paint them in a TS30 Silverleaf Tamiya paint. Well, I don't have any of that stuff. I normally do, but I'm out right now. So we're going to paint it in Alclad duraluminum directly over the plastic. You can do this if you do it in light coats. You don't have to put primer down. In fact, if you don't put primer down and it goes over the plastic is really smooth, and so your finish comes out really smooth, especially on the metallic paints. And if you put it on in light coats, the stuff works. So what I'm going to do now is load up the airbrush right here. I'm going to move all my stuff out of the way, and we're going to lay some paper down here. I'm going to shoot them right here because it's a small confined area. I'm not going to be slinging a whole bunch of paint. It's just a small amount of Alclad. So we're going to do it right at the bench. So we're going to get the airbrush loaded up, and we're going to get it done. Okay, back at the bench. After spraying them a little bit, the Alclad worked beautifully, as I predicted it would. So I just wanted to show you guys and gals out there that you don't have to always prime Alclad. In fact, it sticks, it bites into the plastic, but it doesn't bite to the point where it crazes, like some lacquers do out there. So Alclad is fairly safe over many plastics. Have I had it craze before? Yeah, I mean I have, but very, very, very seldom. So the next step is to take the wheels and pop them into tires. And it's just a matter of shooting them in place. There we are. And let's get this one over here in the lip. I mean, see how durable that stuff is? It didn't even move any of that Alclad out of there, so it's nice. I may put a light coat of clear inside here, maybe an acrylic, just to seal them in. But there's your tire, ready for decals for the most part. So we're going to do all 4 of those like that. So now it's time to apply the decals to the tires. Now these are the somewhat tricky tire decals that Tamiya has and a lot of companies have. They're more like a transfer. And what you got to be careful with these is that, you don't screw them up, number one. You need to line them up properly. I take the protective film off. I'm a little risky with these, and I'll just peel this off here, this transfer film, which will pull the decal off of here. And be careful because it'll curl up on you a little bit. And then what you do is you literally carefully lay this over the tire, like so. Now I've got to look at this at facing myself here, folks, to make sure I got it lined up right and it's centered like that. You got to make sure when you see through, that's why you got to pull it off, the transfer off the paper, so you can see if you've got it lined up right, because you got one shot at this. And if you don't get it lined up right, you're done. You'll have to get another set, or one of your tires is going to have to go without a tire decal on it. So what I do is I make sure it's lined up, and then what Tamiya tells you to do is to apply a little bit of water right here. This water pushes the transfer down onto the tire. And what you got to do is make sure you get it as tight as possible. You press it as hard as possible to try to get all the wrinkles out. There might be little tiny ones you won't be able to get out perfectly, but we'll deal with those later. You push it down, like so. Sorry, I'm wiggling my camera here a little bit on my bench. I'm pressing a little hard, so let me lift my arm up. And then you literally just pull that away, and it's like magic. There they are. So, I've only got about, what, 6 more of these to go, because you got to put them on the inside and the outside. So let's do it. Okay, so now that the decals are all on, they've had a nice time to dry and cure. I'm going to give the sidewalls a gloss coat with this Mission Models clear. I'm not going to spray it on. I'm going to brush it on. This stuff is real versatile. You can brush it on or you can spray it on. And in this case, for more control, I'm going to actually brush it on. Now what this is going to do is give me that glossy sidewall that I want, that I see on F1 cars, especially a set of tires that have been treated before a race. So it's also going to seal in these transfers that are here as well. So I put a nice coat on there. Don't worry about the edges. I'll show you how we'll get rid of the clear coat off the edges in a minute. And then just to speed up the process a little bit, a little heat. I got a fingerprint right there. Let me hit that. It'll be good as new. Stuff's really cool stuff. It just dries and conforms the way I want it. Gives me the look I'm after. Alright. Now, to get all the sloppy gloss coat off the edges of the tires, where the contact patch is, which would not have obviously any gloss coat on it, we're going to take acetone and wipe them down on the edges. I'm going to let that one tire I have here dry a little bit. I'll put it right there. And these guys are dry. So you take a little bit of this acetone and you just wipe it along the edge here. And it takes off the gloss. Problem with acetone is it evaporates pretty quick, so you got to keep applying it. Flip it over and do the other side. Get a little bit more off and keep going. What you'll end up with is a nice uniform look on the edge of those tires that you're looking for. There. That's pretty nice. I'll do a little bit more on it as well. But there's the tire done. Okay? I'm going to do all the other tires the same way. I've also added in there the OZ decals, as you can see inside there. Now, when I guess sometimes on some of my cars I'll detail out the tires, put tire markings on them. I like to find where the car raced at, if I could possibly find pictures on motorsport.com or one of those websites, and actually mark these up. I'm not going to mark them up right now. I'm just going to get them ready so I can apply them to the car. Maybe I'll mark them up just before I put them on the car in one of the later videos. You'll see. It just depends on how I feel. Probably going to ask the client I'm building it for too if he wants me to mark up the tires with tire markings, because I can do that. I usually do it with whites and reds and yellows, depending on the color that they had on the actual tire. But I do like to find an actual tire or picture close-up of the car when it raced, before it raced, and see the markings. Because they put them all over these tires a lot of times, all kinds of different markings, and I want to make them accurate as possible. So if I could find photos, or if anybody knows where I can get them at, if you want to email me, davytib@gmail.com. If you have some pictures for me, DAVEYTHIB@gmail.com. I would love it, of the actual car when it raced. That would be fantastic, because this car, the model depicts, I believe, Oh gosh, it doesn't tell. Oh, model depicts car raced at the 2017 Australian Grand Prix. So if any of you out there have pictures from that race and possible close-up pictures of the tires that show the markings clearly, I would love to add them. So comment in the or let me know in the comments below if you got any, and email them to me, man. I'd really appreciate it. But if not, no big deal. So I'm going to clean up the rest of these tires, set them aside, and move on to the next step, which is I'm going to start detailing out the suspension components, like I said in the beginning of this video. Get them prepped, get some templates made, and start working on the suspension as well, and get rolling on this thing. So that's the end of this video. Again, guys, gals, if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button down below. Lightly tap that thing. Tap the like button as well for this video if you like it. I thank you for the support, and don't forget to ring the bell to make sure you get future notifications of my videos when I upload them. Take care. See you next time.